Hello there, YouTube. It's me, Brodie McLeod. I'm still in my room at Nashward at Signet Qstoke, and had a pretty boring day today. I'm just going to keep this one short and sweet, and I don't know, just read you some shit that's quite interesting. It's quite a good book that I read years ago. It's called The Tao of Physics, and it's all about sort of the correlations between the mysticism of Taoism and Far Eastern tradition and physics. It's called The Cosmic Dance, tracing the parallels of Fritjof Capra, The Tao of Physics. And it says it began with a vision on a beach in Santa Cruz. Fritjof Capra, a theoretical physicist, was sitting by the ocean late one summer afternoon, watching the waves roll in, listening to the rhythm of the surf. Suddenly, the mathematical formulas he worked with daily, the graphs of subatomic particle collisions, come alive. He saw cascades of energy coming down from outer space in which particles were continuously created and destroyed. He heard the rhythm of the cosmos. In that profound moment, Capra realized he was witnessing the dance of Shiva, the Hindu god of creation and destruction. The epiphany became the seed for the Tao of Physics, which was released in 1975, a watershed book that bridged the seemingly impassable gulf between the rigorous rational world of modern physics and the intuitive spiritual realm of Eastern mysticism. Tracing the flow of Capra's masterpiece takes us on an almost chronological journey through the evolution of human thought, from the shattering of the mechanical world to the realization of a deeply interconnected universe. This shattering of the clockwork universe Capra began this journey by dismantling the old world. For centuries, Western science was dominated by Newtonian worldview. The universe was seen as a kind of giant predictable clockwork mechanism made of solid indestructible building blocks, atoms as we like to call them, moving through absolute space and absolute time. It was comfortable deterministic reality where the observer was strictly separated from the observed. But of Capra details, the 20th century brought two scientific earthquakes: relativity and quantum theory. So when physicists probed deep into the atom, the solid building blocks vanished. They found that matter is mostly empty space, and at the subatomic level, things don't act like physical objects at all. The rational mind of the physicist was pushed to its absolute limits when Werner Heisenberg and Niels Bohr, the pioneers of quantum mechanics, found themselves grappling with paradoxes that defied everyday language. Capra points out that the intellectual crisis was exactly what Eastern mystics like Hindus, Buddhists, and Taoists have intentionally induced for millennia. When language and logic break down, a new intuitive understanding of reality must emerge. The first parallel, the unity of all things. So as Capra transitions into the parallels, the first and most fundamental connection he draws is the ultimate unity of interconnectedness and phenomena of all things. So in classical physics, you could understand a complex system by taking it apart and studying its individual pieces. In quantum physics, this isn't possible. Subatomic particles cannot be understood as isolated entities. They can only be understood through their inner relationships with and interactions with the rest of the universe, including the observer itself. Capra beautifully parallels this with the core teaching of Eastern mysticism, whether it's the Hindu concept of the Brahman, the Buddhist Dharmakaya, or the Taoist Tao. The East has always taught that the division of the world into separate independent objects is an illusion. They call them Maya. The cosmos is an inseparable vibrating web of relationships. The second parallel, beyond opposites, wave-particle duality and yin-yang. One of the most agonizing paradoxes early quantum physicists faced was the nature of light and matter. Is light a particle or a wave? Experiments proved it was both, depending on how you looked at it. This wave-particle duality shattered the classical logic of either or. Capra draws a direct line between Niels Bohr's principle of complementary and the ancient Chinese philosophy of yin and yang. In Taoism, opposites, light and dark, good and bad, male and female, wave and particle, are not mutually exclusive enemies, but complementary halves of a single whole. Bohr was so profoundly struck by this parallel that when he was knighted by the King of Denmark, he chose yin-yang symbol for his coat of arms, inscribing it with the motto Contraria sunt complementa, opposites are complementary. The third parallel of space, time, and the eternal now. Next, Capra tackles Einstein's theory of relativity. Einstein proved that space and time are not absolute separate stages upon which events occur. They are the intimately woven together into four-dimensional fabric called space-time. Furthermore, time is relative. It flows differently depending on how fast you are moving. Capra juxtaposes this with Eastern mystical experiences of time. So meditators across various traditions have long reported entering states of consciousness where linear flow of time, past, present, and indeed the future, dissolve into an eternal now. Just as relativistic physics sees the universe as a dynamic, timeless, four-dimensional reality, the mystic experiences the cosmos as an ever-present vibrating reality where space and time are merely construct of the human mind. Pretty deep, eh? The fourth parallel, emptiness and form, the quantum field and the void. As modern physics advanced into quantum field theory, Capra notes it arrived at a startling conclusion that the empty space between particles, the vacuum, is not truly empty, it's a bubbling, seething sea of energy from which particles spontaneously pop into existence and annihilate each other within fractions of a microsecond. A vacuum is truly a living void, pulsating in endless rhythms of creation and destruction, Capra writes. This scientific discovery mirrors one of the most profound concepts in Buddhism, the sunyata, or void. The Heart Sutra famously declares form is emptiness, and emptiness is indeed form. You need to read that about 500 billion times to understand it, but for the Eastern mystic, as for the quantum physicist, the void is not a state of mere nothingness, but the source of all infinite potentials. The climax, not cheap porn, but of the cosmic dance, the culmination of Capra's chronological exploration, brings us back to his vision on the beach in modern particle physics. Matter is never strictly at rest. Every subatomic particle is in a state of perpetual restless motion. The universe is a continuous dance of energy. Capra finds the perfect metaphor for this in the Hindu myth of Shiva Nataraja, the lord of the dance. Shiva's dance symbolizes the eternal life-death rhythm of the universe. In a striking passage, Capra overlays the modern bubble chamber with photographs of colliding particles, with their swirling, spiraling tracks of energy over the ancient bronze statues of the dancing Shiva. Modern physics has shown us that the rhythm of creation and destruction is not only manifest in the turn of the seasons and the birth and death of all living creatures, but is also the very essence of inorganic matter. Capra concludes, for the modern physicists, then, Shiva's dance is the dance of subatomic matter. It occurred to him that a new and ancient worldview had been set before him. It's really interesting. So he wrote the Tao of Physics, and in that book it doesn't claim that modern physics proves Eastern mysticism or that ancient mystics possessed particle accelerators. Instead, it demonstrates that when human beings probe the ultimate nature of reality, whether we're looking outward through the mathematics of a quantum laboratory or looking inward through the deep stillness of meditation, they arrive at the same exact conclusion. We're not isolated cogs in a mechanical universe. We are participants in a dynamic, deeply interconnected cosmic dance. That's all I've got to say today. Keep the angle, and lots of love and all the best. Have a good evening.